Green Education 101 brings to young people the world of sound environmental practices, alternative energy sources, the scientific community, and the areas within the fields of engineering and media production. Exposing students to the sciences in order to enhance their awareness and to enlighten them on career alternatives and higher education options. This week on Green Education 101, students head to a Green Car Summit to learn about alternative automotive choices and technology. Next, students head to a local fueling station to learn about the day-to-day operation. From there, students head to a fueling terminal facility to explore the world of biofuels and alternative energy resources. Students then visit a state senator to discuss the green workforce. Green Education 101 was created to offer maximum exposure to the world of engineering, science, and media production with hands-on experiences to prepare students for the changing demands in green sciences.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
Hi, I'm James. We're here today in front of the U.S. Capitol located in Washington, D.C.
The Capitol building is a historical building in which policies and legislations are put in place.
We've heard quite a bit of conversation over the past few years about the recent changes within the automotive industry.
For instance, technology, transportation, being efficient, and making smart energy choices. We are two members of the Youth Initiative Energy and Environment Program.
A program committed to increasing awareness and understanding of energy and the environment.
At one point, marketing campaigns flooded the airwaves introducing the new changes within the automotive industry.
Changes such as hybrid vehicles,
electric cars,
and fuel cell cars.
What exactly is a fuel cell car?
Last year, students from the Youth Initiative Energy and Environment Program stopped by the Green Car Summit held at the Washington, D.C. Convention Center to gain insight on some of the new technology they've seen on the roads today.
The Equinox fuel cell electric vehicle runs on hydrogen. It's truly a zero emissions vehicle. The only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is water vapor, and we believe that hydrogen fuel cell technology holds great promise for the future of personal mobility.
James, nice to meet you. Keith Cole, General Motors.
Hello, I'm Amber.
Amber, nice meeting you.
I'd like to start it out by asking, if you would go to a ethanol selling gas station,
Yeah?
would the same price be as like a regular gas station? Would the price be the same?
No. Generally, ethanol's selling for less than gasoline these days. Here in Washington, last time I checked, it was about $2.40, $2.50 a gallon. That's at the station over in Georgetown. Yeah, it is good. But it needs to be less expensive because it has a lower energy content than gasoline. So it's just a property of physics and chemistry. It just doesn't have as much energy in it as a gasoline does. So you should look for something that's got maybe a 20 or 30% less price for E85 than for gasoline.
Environmental friendly, well, we're cutting down on the greenhouse gases. The Tahoe 2-mode hybrid helps improve your fuel economy overall 25%. You have 2 modes. The first mode is electric drive vehicles. The first full-size hybrid SUV. So when you're driving in city driving, you're operating off of electric power. You're not using any gasoline. It sets it apart from traditional hybrid vehicles, which are good. Like most are, when you're driving your city driving, you're using electric vehicles, so you're emitting less greenhouse gases. But the Tahoe does one better, because when you're on a highway, it also helps save you fuel as well. You get 25% better overall fuel economy based on the 2-mode system. When you're in the first mode, you're fully electric. When you're in the second mode, you're operating off of a little bit of gasoline, but you're getting assistance from the second battery as well on the highway.
There's really 2 different kinds of engines that are common in the world. There's gasoline engines and there's diesel engines. You might have noticed that in the United States there's not a lot of diesel engines except in heavy-duty truck. And if we take a look, there's a reason for that, and that is that if we divide all the vehicles up in the world here between the heavy ones and the light ones, and the ones that do a lot of stop and go, and the ones that do a lot of overland driving, continuous road on the freeway, out here the over-the-land truck, the big semi-trucks, those are almost all diesel. And the reason is because they're very, very fuel efficient. So you might ask, well, why don't we have any in passenger cars in the United States if they're so efficient? Well, And the reason is we've had very difficult emissions legislation in the United States, which has essentially made it very difficult for diesel engines to be introduced because they couldn't meet the tough emission standards. And so what we've been able to do is we've been able to innovate and introduce new technology, which makes it possible to introduce diesels in the United States. And so if I take a look at where diesels are going to shine, anytime you're driving out on the freeway or you're hauling something, you've got a heavy-duty pickup truck like the one behind us, diesels are going to really shine there because they're excellent at towing and hauling. Now, as I move across this line, I want to pick up hybridization. I want to add hybrid electric powertrain components so that when I stop, instead of wasting all that energy on the brakes, I can actually recharge my battery. So then when I start again, I can use that to launch the vehicle. And it actually is very effective at saving fuel. So out here, where we've got the heavy-duty vehicles or the cars that drive over the road or the heavy-duty trucks, here diesels are really going to shine. So now let me answer your question. Okay, this is our first step towards moving diesels into the light-duty market. So this is a 4.5-liter truck engine. This is a big engine. And so it would, in that vehicle right there, would be a very solid performer. You'd love it. You could also hook up your boat or your house trailer, and you could drive up over the mountain because that's what the diesel engine is made for. And so it's got great towing characteristics, and it's got great fuel economy. Now, the challenge that I talked about, what kept diesel out of the North American market, is right here. And so there's two things about diesel engines that really have caused us a lot of problem. One is particulate emissions. Maybe you've seen some old dump trucks which have a lot of smoke coming out of the pipe. And the other is there's a gas you can't see called nitric oxide. It helps form acid rain, smog, those kinds of things. And so we used to be up here in 2007. And then the new emission standard for 2010 was going to push us all the way down to there. And so unless your engine could meet that, you can't sell diesels. And so the issue is that with this new engine, what we're able to do is we're able to take the emissions from here to here. We can meet the standards, and now we can offer this really exciting product here in the United States.
Saab Automobile is currently using E85 vehicles. They call that biopower. And that's ubiquitous in Sweden and now emerging into Europe. So that's very important. And I think the reason why it's become so much of a part of that landscape now is for many reasons. First, government regulations, their endorsements for alternate fuel stations throughout Sweden, if we look at Sweden where Saab hails from, allows for E85 to be on basically every service station, fuel station throughout the country. 9 million people, roughly the size of California. So they really have that territory covered. And that's where E85 really plays into that, where the infrastructure is already there, the government's endorsed it, and now more people buy into that. I think secondly is that when it comes to driving these vehicles into urban areas where there may be more people that can afford these vehicles, there's a waiver on congestion charges in larger cities. That's very important when it comes to your daily commute in and out of a city and not having to be taxed or tariffed like you would in maybe another city. So these incentives and these government regulations that support this infrastructure are really important, and I think that's where that comes into play. When it comes to Saab's vehicle lineup with the biopower, it's the 9.3 range that's covered through the convertible, the sport sedan, and the sport combi, which is the wagon variant. Also, the other side of the spectrum is the 9.5 variations, where we have the sedan and the combi, and those are also biopower enabled. In fact, the 9.5 is where the biopower first began. And keep in mind that the biopower technology, as Saab calls it, is really a derivative of Sweden's engineering in Trollhättan, Sweden, where Saab started. So that's pretty important for people that are very passionate, enthusiastic about where this technology came from.
Yeah.
Does Saab make more regular gas fuel cars or more E85 fuel cars?
That's a good question. I think the direction is to have more alternate fuel vehicles, E85 being that biopower, yes. And that's starting to emerge in other countries. North America is where that will be taking place, and I understand in about over a year's time. So the idea is to have more of those in comparison to petrol vehicles. I think the government regulations continues to be the biggest challenge in that process. And overcoming that challenge in all markets is really where, again, the biopower vehicles will be ubiquitous in every market. So I think that's really important to understand.
Okay, so now that we've learned the different various types of cars that are new on the road,
With all the latest changes in the automotive industry and technology, we thought it would be interesting to learn about the fueling aspects of what it takes to run a gasoline station.
so we stopped by the county filling station in Luxembourg, Maryland to see how the process works. And we brought by a new member in Drury to see how the process works as well.
So let's go meet Christina and Jane.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm Christina.
Hi, I'm Jerry.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm James.
So Christina, what does it take to run a gasoline station?
There's 3 things that it takes to run a gas station. One is to be able to multitask. Number 2 is organization. And 3 is patience. One of the most important parts of the day is at the very beginning when we open up the store and we do what we call sticking. And the person that's going to show you that is James. And he is in the garage right now, so we're going to take it in there and he'll answer all your questions about that.
Okay.
Okay? I'd like you to meet some of the kids from the Youth Initiative Energy and Environment Program. This is Kayla, Jerry, and James.
So what does it take to run a gasoline station?
The first thing that we usually do in the morning, we have to stick the tanks to get the fuel we sold the night before. Let me show you. Well, we stick the tanks every day for 2 reasons. One, to see how much fuel we sold the day before, and also to make sure that it's not leaking into the ground from the tanks. And we do that by taking the top lid off, and then they have the pressure lid so water doesn't go in there. And this pretty much tells you 16 inches of fuel in there. Chart them every day to regulate how much fuel is going in and out.
Now, we've learned about ethanol in our youth program. Does your gas station sell ethanol?
Yes, they have ethanol in the gas, 10%.
E10? E10?
Yes.
And would the station have to make any changes, such as with pumps or tanks, in order to offer a higher blend of ethanol?
No, they maybe had to change the filtration device as far as filters or what have you. But the pump itself should be able to hold that more ethanol.
So what are some of your standard practices when it comes to disposing and recycling of materials?
As far as oil or waste oil, we have a container that goes around back, 50-gallon drums that they come out of recycling. It comes out and pumps it out once a month.
With running your gas station, what environmental issues and concerns do you have?
They pretty much have good standards as far as environment, so that we make sure we don't, like I said, stick in the tanks and stuff like that, and make sure that it doesn't do anything to the environment. And they have the vapors have different locks that so that it doesn't escape into the atmosphere.
And do you have to take special training in order to work on the new types of cars, such as hybrid, fuel cell, and electric?
Yes. Any different mechanics do have a special training to specialize in that different field. So there is special training because it's a whole different machine.
Okay.
With the new vehicles on the road, does that affect your job as a mechanic?
So it just gives us more to learn and more newer things to as far as for training and what have you.
Students explore alternative fuel choices by visiting the OMO Science, Energy, and Technology Terminal in Baltimore, Maryland. Headed by Mr. Cornelius Jones, Jones gives students an overview of biofuels from storage and transportation to research and productivity.
Can you tell us about OMO Science, Energy, and Technology?
Yes, OMO Science, Energy, and Technology is a wholesale distributor of petroleum products. We have 4 major industries of concentration: aviation, rail, marine, and utility. And we try to supply products to support fleets and local municipalities and government. That would be everything from the generators that runs the buildings that back up to the cars and trucks and fleets that they use in transporting their personnel.
Can you tell us about the green aspect of OMO Science, Energy, and Technology?
Yeah, OMO Science, Energy, and Technology has a green division. And what we try to do is stay in compliance with the Clean Air Act. Of course, in today's world, you're trying to reduce the sulfur emissions. So we have a biodiesel that we sell to local municipalities. We also have an ethanol gasoline that we sell to local municipalities and their transports. And we also do that with our lubes and greases and motor oils. So they are soy-based, and we sell those as well.
With using these alternative energy products that you talked about, what are some environmental benefits of putting them in your vehicle?
Well, I think that as a total, if everybody did it, or a large portion, we all could help reduce and help to make a better system. But then, too, the education process and the alternative energy market, we are going in that direction. Then, of course, there's an initiative in order to be less dependent on the Middle Eastern oils, and so we are all trying to participate in that part of it. I think that the other benefits to that is the new engines that are coming out in 2010. Of course, the American Petroleum Institute and trying to help us to educate ourselves as well as the youth that are coming up. So I think that the overall benefit will be more environmentally conscious, and at the same time, we reduce our dependency on foreign oils.
How do you process soy into an alternative fuel?
The process of making soybean biodiesel requires a certification. It's actually the soybean oil that is removed, and you collect the esters. But what I would like to do is to invite you to the facility so that you're able to meet with the engineers and they can go through that method and that process, and I think you will enjoy it, and it's a great education.
How does soy reduce the amount of pollutants in the environment?
Soy serves the same purpose as the other biomasses. They are trying a number of different products along with the soy algae, canola oil, and of course soy serves the same purpose, like it reduces emissions, it reduces sulfur, and they're trying to suppress so they get the counts up.
Is there a cost difference between soy and gasoline?
Well, we do not use soy in gasoline. The ethanol is used in gasoline. Soy is used in biodiesel, and there is a cost difference because ethanol serves as an additive, and so does the soy serve as an additive for the biodiesel. So there's a difference. You're paying for your gasoline, but you're also paying for that additive. And based on what the market is, based on if the market goes up on soy, then of course the price is higher. And so it's a farm product. It's agri-based.
Are there any last words that you want to inform the viewer of your business with OMO Science, Energy, and Technology?
Yes, I would like to let them know that we also have a remediation restoration division that we work on Poplar Island and looking at Hot Mill Island there in the Bay, and that we also have internships that we try to do every summer with kids. We work with a number of the HBCUs in order to bring more light and more insight into our environment through students. We also do air quality testing and water quality testing with students at certain colleges based on those curriculums. And we have laboratories also outside of Maryland at Texas Southern and at Prairie View where they have petroleum curriculums. But in working with the local colleges here, we're setting up an environmental access program. So we're helping them to facilitate some of their growth out on our sites so students are able to come out and learn with approval, of course, from the colleges.
Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Research laboratories from around the globe have been committed stewards in pursuing alternative energy choices and striving to reach legislative goals that have been set in order to reduce the stresses on our natural resources and the environment.
Hi, Senator Gladden. My name is James.
Good to see you.
My name is Jamal.
Good to see you.
How long have you been a senator?
I've been a senator in the state of Maryland since 2002. I represent the 41st District in Baltimore City, which is the northwest corner of the city.
Senator Gladden, can you tell us what a green job is?
I sure can. Green jobs include new jobs and existing jobs that have been retrofitted to meet the requirements of new green standards. So sometimes it might be just cleaning up the old jobs, but sometimes it's about making new jobs too. And so the green technologies and the green economy are supposed to help us do that.
What age do you have to be to work in the green workforce?
I think a lot of it really depends upon what the local employment standards would include. But for instance, pretty much in the state of Maryland, if you're 14, you can get a work permit, and then by the time you're 16, you can just start to work. It really is about being interested and being involved in environmental issues, no matter what your age is. And so while we may not be able to pay you before age 14, clearly this is about a chance to learn something very new and very exciting.
With all this talk about green jobs and the green workforce, how does this affect our generation?
This is a chance for young people to make a mark in a new economy. Unlike all other times in which you have had to inherit all of these older economies, you're not going to make it yourself. You are sophisticated in technology, and you understand perhaps some of the sensitivities of an economic economy. You know what it is that we need, and I believe that instead of being the followers, you're going to be the leaders in this new economy. I look forward to seeing what happens next.
If you weren't a senator, what job would you be interested in the green workforce?
For me, I would like to do something with recycling. Recycling brings the green workforce and the green economy to the average citizen. So whether it's paper, plastic, or aluminums, people understand that they should recycle. And I just think that you can start that natural interest in recycling and create an opportunity for the green workforce. So perhaps it is, you take all that stuff and you make energy. You take all that stuff and you build things with it. But this is an opportunity in which, if it were up to me, I'd want to do something where I could do something with those things. We have a lot of disposables that we need to do something with, and I think that the more people who are making a plan on how to recycle, the more likely we are going to have a better and a greener community.
What advice would you give our generation to whom are interested in the field of politics?
I think the first thing is you really have to know your community. You have to know their issues. You need to know the people. But moreover, you have to know the history, because if you are to be a leader, you have to know from where you've come. And so you have to know the people who are making decisions now. You have to know what issues are most important to that community. If it's yours, you probably know them. And then you really have to know your history. You have to know what the community has done previously and figure out whether or not you can now be the new leader to take them to the next generation or to the next place.
Are there any special events or programs inside the green workforce?
Part of it is what you create yourself as part of a larger community. But we just finished, the Black Caucus had their weekend in which we invited young people, teachers, and other business people to talk about the green economy and opportunities for young people. And so there are plenty of things to do. You just sort of have to go out to the internet, find them, and start doing them, because everybody has got to work on creating a greener economy in America.
Thank you, Senator Gladden, for talking to us today.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Are there any last words that you want to inform the viewer of your company, OMO Science and Engineering?
Oh, I thought you had to move it again. I thought you had to move it again. You should have said, well, we ain't pausing this time. So you just go straight to it. Yeah, I seen you over there. I said, okay, all right, then.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
Sorry, that was me. That was me messing with him.
Okay, all right. And a little more closer.
Can't get much closer than this.
I can't do it.
And 5, 4,
They keep looking at me now.
2. You got it?
All right.
2 actions.
I'm done.
Disruptive forces, including automated, connected, electrical and/or shared mobility, are impacting energy consumption and transportation. Technological innovations to vehicles, such as reducing the cost of advanced batteries that power plug-in vehicles, co-optimizing fuels and engines, and using lightweight components enabled by advanced materials, reduce the cost while increasing efficiency and performance. The Office of Energy Efficiency Vehicle Technologies Office is in the forefront of this market shift. VTO supports research and development that investigates how disruptive forces will impact energy consumption in transportation. A recent study shows that the disruption, connectivity, and automation bring to the transportation sector could result in a potential 200% increase in 2050 baseline energy consumption, or a 60% decrease in energy use. Nearly every plug-in electric vehicle on the road today uses VTO-developed battery technology. In fact, VTO-funded research has reduced the cost of advanced batteries by 80%, lowering the cost of electric vehicle battery packs to $185 per kilowatt hour. VTO is continuing to focus on technological innovations that strengthen national security, support American energy dominance, enable future economic growth, and increase transportation affordability for all American consumers. This information comes from David Howe, Deputy Director with the Department of Energy Vehicle Technologies Office. David Howe leads initiatives and programs that help reduce Americans' dependence on foreign oil and secure a clean energy future. Green, a word that has evolved into a verb, becoming more acceptable in many of our daily routines. We are encouraged towards the ultimate objective of changing our behavior and our day-to-day practices through articles, television programming, and education. Special incentives, policies, programs, and strategic plans have been carefully put into place to continue to improve and revitalize the environment as well as the economy.